Anybody else see that film American Werewolf in London, I think? See the mist down there? Don't go out on the moors. Morning, Jay here from I Wonder UK. Day 5 of the Two Moors Way, Devon coast to coast. I stayed in the Drew Arms last night in their bunkhouse. A bit of an impromptu one. Probably should have stayed in my tent, to be honest. Serve a lovely pint, but the bunkhouse left a lot to be desired. I wasn't expecting anything, but just basic hygiene, clear out the rubbish from the previous people, etc. But let's not complain. Got an early start. I was up at 5. The room was very cold, no heating. Warmer in my tent, to be honest with you. But the showers were nice. So I've packed up and I've gone. Had a nice early start, 7 o'clock. Mist is just coming off the floor. Withersby, I'm going today. I'll correct that in a minute and I'll put it up here somewhere. Is where I'm trying to aim to today, but because I cut it short yesterday because I was a little bit tired because I pushed it, I know I've got about 18 miles today. It's cool this morning, but it's going to be sunny later on today. So let's go. Let's see how we get on. You drop down the village, down the basically following down the road, then down a little track past a beautiful little thatched cottage and up this lovely little woodland walkway. But unfortunately, this is what the day looks like it's going to bring for me. I'm going to fight. I've only been going for a few minutes. Poor old oak tree giving up the ghost. Never mind, we're back out onto this little trail now. As I said before, I've got a nice early start. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a clear morning. It's just about got to 6 degrees. Walking down out the village was fine, but coming through this woodland, obviously where it keeps that shade most of the time, it's a little bit cooler. And I can feel my fingers stiffening up. Literally. They're not like freezing cold, but I can feel the tips of my fingers going, which is weird. And I'm only dressed for the summer as well. Shorts, wrong move. End of that woodland track, come up to a farm through a 5-bar gate. Bear left up this concrete road. We're walking up here to join the road. I was just wandering, wandering in my head, not wandering. And I was thinking, poor old Maud. Like I said before, I stayed in the Drew Arms last night in the bunkhouse. She was the landlady in there for 75 years, I think. Longest landlady in the country, I think. Record. Died at 99. So that's her whole life in that place. And now the people who are running it can't even be bothered to tidy up from the day before. The woman in the pub, I'm not trying to moan about it, but I'm going to... Literally was telling me yesterday they had 6 lads in there the day before me, and she said I couldn't be bothered to clear up, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Great attitude. Never mind, it's a beautiful sunny morning. Sun's that bright it's bleaching it out. Let's see what this day brings for me. After crossing over the bridge of the dual carriageway, turn directly right, come down to past a farmyard and through a gate. Unfortunately for me, I've got some lively cows in there, and I'm going to use them as an excuse. I got slightly distracted because of the cows. Do not walk diagonally across the field. Well, it looks like you should because there's a well-worn path. Go to the left and just hug the hedge all the way to the bottom. Ignore the cows if you can. See the dew evaporating like the mist. It's coming across the field here, which looks beautiful. The unfortunate thing is on this trip challenge, I'm using trekking shoes, which I do find comfortable and they're lovely, and I've never had a blister from them, but you're going to get wet feet. As you can see from day 2 of this trip, I don't mind getting them wet. I even walk through the stream with them, but because it's just that little bit fresher this morning. When I did the Southwest Coastal Path, I insisted on leather boots, which I polished every morning, every night or every morning, just because I didn't want to get my feet wet. But it's getting to that time of year when it's just a little too cold to be having trekking shoes on for my liking this time in the morning. Lesson learned. Through those last 4 or 5 fields and drop down to the footbridge, and then we're up in the woods, and the track looks a bit, just slipped, sorry, a bit slippery and not that well worn. Update on last, after a few metres of the little zigzag, the path's okay. It's not worn, but you can see where you're going. Walking through the meadows there, the signs are quite clearly signpost at the end of it with a little double M. You walk through the first, but they are wet. Grass is very long, so it's wet this time in the morning. Then you come across this duckboard. Oh, I'm back out onto pastures again. Just a little while after the duckboards, a couple of 100 metres tops, you come out onto a lovely thatched roof farm. Immediately turn left and come down a concrete road. Come out off the path by that beautiful little, my ideal, thatched cottage, and then for the next couple of 3 miles maybe, we got some roadwork. My favourite. Hedgerows is a strange little hamlet. I'm not sure if you call it a village. It's got a blacksmith's. Then you walk past the school, and a little further on it's got quite an impressive church, but only a very few houses. Quite odd. Very, very tiny. I've just got to the little diversion sign in the book. If you look on the book for the 2 Moors Way, there's a little diversion alternative route in blue after Hedgerows. Well, I was going to go off there and see if I could find a bit wild camp. Well, I'm an hour and 40 minutes now, so let's add another 20 on to actually get out there. So that would be 2 hours on from yesterday. Could I have done it? Yesterday, I had that bit of a push during the day, and by the afternoon I was not struggling, but I knew I'd sort of getting to the stage where I had enough. So for me, it seemed to make more sense to stop, and especially when that bunkhouse for £20 came up. That may not have been the greatest decision of my life, but yeah, I could have got there. I didn't, so I've got a longer walk today. But this road that I'm walking down now, with a blue alternate road going off to the left here, I don't see any point. I've literally been walking down here from the other end. I've had one horse come the other way, and I've just had a little car just slowly come past. One car. It's not a major road. I've said before in other videos, I like to walk for 2 hours on the first stretch before I have a break or anything. I just like to, it feels like you get a little chunk done straight away and you've got sort of something to look forward to. It gives you a bit of a target to start the day. But on this, there's obviously nowhere to stop on this road, so I'm going to get to the junction. It'll be either 2 hours or to the junction / turn off onto a footpath. By that time my feet will be dry and I'll be able to get them wet again. I've been walking for 30 minutes or so with hedges higher than me on both sides, so this is quite a novelty. Hold on. Starting to get some views. The road work is what it is. It's taken about 45 minutes. I'm going really slow. I'm trying to save my energy and stretch it out and pace myself all day today. So it's 45 minutes. There's a couple of white, like finger posts, but for road signs. But they've also got the 2 Moors Way sign on, a couple of them. And then one brings you sharply back left. So you zigzag and it immediately descends. Come down a hill. There's a farmhouse on your right hand side. Ignore that one. Keep on a little bit further. And then there's a house on the end with a 5-bar gate. You can see my breath. I'll show you now. this 5-bar gate, literally at the end of the road, and we're turning around and going there. I'm going to take a quick 5 minutes because we're off road for a little bit and then back on road again. I just had a thought. In the 2.5 hours I've been going for, I've spoken to one woman very briefly about, asked me if I was walking 2 miles away. I saw a young lady on a horse and 2 cars. So for 2.5 hours I've had isolation. I personally love it, but you need to be prepared that you won't see or talk to anybody. We've got the roadwork behind us and now we're off road again. The not bad thing, but the situation is this is long grass and the path's not worn down, so your feet are going to get wet again if it's dewy, and it's quite hard to push yourself through as well. Some of these stinger nettles, etc., and brambles. Trekking poles come in handy though. We've gained a little elevation, so just give you a quick spin round. Like rolling countryside, I guess you call it. Oh, there's a gang of people up in front of me, just waiting ominously. This one at the front must be George. There's always one more curious than the others. Yes, George, I've got your number. Hi guys. Just keep nice and calm, and hopefully they'll keep calm too. Just nice, slow pace. Give them a couple of metres gap. You'll always have one following right behind you. George, no. Go on. And the lazy one that just can't be bothered to move. Don't get startled. I'm just trying to get to the gate. Come on. There you go. Last couple. And there you go. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Cheers. You have a good day. All safe and sound out of track on the other side. Thought I was doing all right, and there's a diversion. I seem to remember reading about it in the book, but I'm thinking that was from 2 years ago. So, but the warning signs at the end, it's not stilted up, but I don't want to go that way, and it is wrong. Note to self: find out before you leave next time, Jay. The detour round where the railway bridge or line is being fixed, I don't know if it's still being fixed, take you about an hour of road work, and that's good steady walking. Not fast, not slow, just good steady walking. I'll show you what I mean on the map. The road continues all this way down to here. There's a sharp left, come back over the railway bridge, turn left. There's a sharp right and a bend left, and you'll catch back up and join the path back up here. Like I say, a good hour. It's Monday 19th of September, 11 o'clock, so I'm going to have a proper rest now, a little rest and a few minutes silent. We all know the reason why. And we're back off the road again, thank goodness. But I hate these things. Electric fence. Cut across the field with some cattle in and turned left just before this big barn type thing with a clock on the top. I didn't realise I've not got much footage. There's that barn with a clock tower, and you have to basically thread yourself through. It's a nice cottage behind me, isn't it? Which takes some time. Just make sure it's not just a straight path. It's not any bother. There are signs, but you do need to look for them. It wiggles in and out. There's plenty to look around and see. The scenery is beautiful, but there's nothing to take pictures of. How many pictures of fields, trees and fluffy clouds would you like to see? It's a lovely walk. I'm dealing with a midday fade, if I'm honest with you as well. The temperature's gone up. It's about 17 degrees now. It's 12 o'clock. I've been going since 7, so done about 10, 11 miles. Perhaps a bit off more than I could chew today. No, not more than I can chew. Just a bit off a big chunk. That's the way we're heading. Give you a very speedy 360. Fields and farmyards and track paths. At least it's not walking down the road. Just when you've had enough of walking down the road, you come off and it's 12 o'clock and this grass is still wet enough to make your shoes sodden. Just taking 5 minutes. And we're off up that way. From the picture of the little church back then, you get up to the main road, turn right, left, right, left, and then you're going across the field, and then it's right, you come down through the woodland and straight across this bit of pasture land. I am fascinated by these old bridges. I love how they've been built. One over the single track railway line. We're coming out this way. Got over the railway bridge, turned right, and then you're walking down the gravel track, you know, wide enough for a vehicle, and then it cuts across the fields. You keep to the left hand edge of the field. At the time I come through, there's sweet corn in there. Sweet corn, whichever you call it. Another problem just popped up. I've already dealt with a detour. Now my OS maps on my app has gone down. Now, I don't rely on it. Well, I do, if I'm honest. I do have OS map and I've got the 2 miles way guide, but it's not that super accurate when you've got 2 or 3 paths you could take. It's alright, just looking at 2 or 3 paths I could take. It's gone down totally. Now, I downloaded these maps before. The same thing happened to me on the Southwest Coastal Path. All the maps just disappeared. They asked me if I wanted to download the maps. Worse than that, the online, and I've got good 4G at the moment, has gone down. I've got a little red arrow in the middle of a white screen. Like I said, this is the second time it's happened for an app that potentially people could be surviving on. In 4 days time, I was going to go out exploring Dartmoor for 3 days. It doesn't build confidence, to be honest with you. But there you go. It's a problem I'm going to have to deal with. And instead of just getting my phone out and just having a quick look at direction, yeah, that's the correct path. Now I've got to keep plotting and navigating and pacing myself out. I've already done 14 miles. It's an extra push, which is my fault, I guess. But that's not the point, is it? It's just failed again. Rant over. Going to cross a couple of fields. You have to go right round the field. Sweet corn, and then round the back of a woodland, across another field, through a farm. The signposts are really good, and then you're down this lovely wood, which today is glorious because it's quite warm now. The temperature now is 18 degrees. Not too bad for this time of year. Coming up to the end of September. Still finding our way through pastures, across fields and down like farmers' gravel tracks and stuff like that, but occasionally it breaks out. I'll see if I can. The countryside is beautiful when you can actually see it, and I'm not grumbling about it, it's just the way it is. But it's not the open spaces, the moors, but we knew that. But it's very enclosed. But it's a beautiful day for walking. Perhaps a better example of the outlook when you do get it. This isn't a crop that I imagine we grow a lot of in this country, but I've been through, without exaggerating, a dozen fields of this. It's quite nice, except for the spider's webs coming across an event. Sometimes the leaf just cuts the edge of your face, but it feels like you're exploring in some sort of maze. A better indicator perhaps would be the amount of oak trees that are around. They seem to be everywhere, which is fabulous. Nice to actually see them. There's another that's unfortunately lost its branch, but good indicators of where the path is. Look, finger post centre of screen now. You know, I'm an advocate of looking back, but because we've got a bit of elevation now, we can see back. Staggering. My guess that would be the moors in the distance there. Anybody confirm that? Drop a comment, please. I think we turn left after this one. That is just huge. I'm not a big house fan, but that is beautiful. The turn-offs after this one, a little bit more modest. Not the last one, I do apologise. You can tell because it'd be opposite the church. Hi there, just sitting down taking 5, and I remembered I didn't mention where all those beautiful thatched cottages are. That's Mortured Bishop. And the church is quite nice as well. Not magnificently huge, but pretty right at the end of the village. Word of warning as well, I've noticed it 3 if not 4 times now. Make sure you check the openings at the time. Today's a special day, it's the bank holiday Monday for the Queen's death. But the little general stores and stuff are got very restricted opening times, so check if you're going to depend on it. I personally don't. I always try and have backup. 2 is 1, 1 is none. It's nice if there's something there where you can get a sausage roll or an ice cream or a chocolate bar, but I've got stuff in my bag in case. And I've had 3 if not 4 occasions out of the last 5 days where the shop's been closed, or the coffee shop's not open till 11 and I've come past about 10 o'clock and I'm not going to wait for an hour. Just a word to the wise, I'm not trying to teach you to suck eggs, just what I'm experiencing. It's my story. 20 minutes out of the village at a push, I don't know, over in the corner there, and it's fairly level on the edges, and like over in the corner there you could wild camp. I'm not saying you should, but you could. I just thought, I haven't been forgetting about looking out for wild camping spots. There's a real distinct lack of them on this stretch from where I started this morning, because you're going over farmers' fields and up farmers' tracks and little footpaths that are hedges both sides. There's a real lack of them, but I've not desperately been looking, but I normally spot them, so there's not more. Parts of this remind me of Pedder's Way a little bit. Besides, Pedder's Way is probably not so hilly, but you pop out onto a road, go down a few yards and pop back off it again, down another farmer's track. Do you ever have those challenging days? I said earlier on that I got a big walk today. I did 14 miles up to about 2 o'clock, I think it was, and I was starting to get a bit panicky. Then my OS maps went on my phone. I've just double checked the route down. I think it's Beach Hill Camping, it's just near there. Oh, I'll check on the OS map later. And someone's put an electric fence across the route, and it's described in the book quite accurately. Go through 2 gates, turn right, and you can't, there's an electric fence, so I'm having to take the road again and go around a loop the other way around. Some more woodland lane walking. Very nice, it's nice underfoot. It's 4:15 now and the weather's changed. I've got a couple more miles. I'm getting to Black Dog and then diverting off from there. I've got a luxury wild camping session for the night. Like I said, I'm just down the road from the Black Dog and I'm going off to my secret location for wild camping tonight. I may let you in on it later. Thanks for joining me today. I'm sorry there's not been more dramatic pictures like normal, or hopefully you think normal, but that's what this walk is. Pastures, hedgerows, farmer's track. It's a lovely walk. I've done too much today, so I may do a little bit later on, maybe not, and if not, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on day 6. Just a quick spin round to finish because it is just so green. So this is the 19th of September.
Nice.